a little concerned when you go look at these maps that show the heat index of where crimes are occurring, and it looks pretty bad. I'd rather you have the money to hire a few more people. Am I making sense? Or?
Well, you're making sense. I mean, it's not an argument that I haven't heard 100 times in past 8 years.
What can we do?
Well, not much. In those regard, because those monies are those road and bridge monies are federal and state monies that by law have to be utilized for those purposes. So if you wanted to hire another 30 officers or build another 160 beds, you could not use that money to do it with. That's just the nature of the law.
It can't be redistributed to help you support ancillary staff?
Not that money, because that money is mandated by statute, goes into that pot. That's just like in the county has about, let me think here a minute, $88 million in their budget every year. Okay. But only about 56 million of that is what they call appropriatable. And we get about 53% of that. So the rest of that money is road and bridge that can't be appropriated for any other purposes but those functions. And so that means that we and other county offices, which by law are statutory offices, if you talk about the collector and the treasurer and the clerk, all of those are elected positions, and their offices have to be funded as well. That's the reason that we have such a problem with the cities in terms of helping them to understand the county only has so much money coming into the coffers every year. And when you start slicing that relatively small pie 6 different ways, and we're already getting the majority of it. I've heard that, believe me, I've heard that about the bridges, and I understand the frustration with it, but it's just the law, and we have to live with it and make do with what we have, and hopefully find ways to generate additional revenue, whether it's from the city. We look at these figures here. You talk about revenue. We generate about $7 million a year in the jail.
Is that through the parole fee? I mean,
through the commissary account. We charge inmates for snacks. We charge inmates for telephone calls. We charge the Marshal Service pays us $66 a day to house their inmates. The state pays us $28 a day. Problem is that 28 doesn't match what our costs are, so that's another issue. But even that $28, that's a fee that's set by the legislature, and we're limited. We haven't had a raise in that fee in over 10 years. So I guess we're fortunate we even get that much out of the state. But maybe the legislature, and it's an issue they've taken up, and you're quite right. The sheriffs have a lot of influence in the legislature. But that's one issue that we haven't been able to whip over the past 10 years. So, but it's always an issue that we take up in the legislature, trying to increase the fee that the state pays us to house their inmates. We actually, talk about this parole situation and what it's cost us. We've, since October, we've billed the state almost $1 million for their parolees who are being held for revocation hearings, and we paid for that. So we're holding out hope, and in some ways the governor has assured us, all of us, that additional funding will be coming in the next legislative session. So I expect that we will eventually get that money, but in the meantime, we're spending it, but we're not getting a return. So.
On the, just using round figures, you're saying that if a county jail fund is about $50 million, that'd be about fair for Pulaski County?
No, my budget is just for the jail. It's about 20, right at 25 million.
Okay, so what I was going to get to is, Pulaski County budget, what does Little Rock, in a percentage sort of, Little Rock, North Little Rock,
Well,
what do they do?
pursuant to the interlocal agreement, Little Rock pays about $1.2 million to the county for the use of the facility. North Little Rock pays about $700,000 annually, and then the other cities are less. Maumelle, I think,
130.
what is it?
130,000.
Yeah.
What, Maumelle?
Yeah.
No.
I was
No,
thinking
it's
it was
about
about
30.
70.
No, it's about 30-some thousand.
No, it's more than
I mean,
that. Yeah, it's more than that. But anyways,
Oh,
in
no.
total it's $2.3 million, all of the cities, and I can tell you that Little Rock spends 1.2, and North Little Rock is right at 700,000. So the rest of it to make up that 2.3 comes from the cities. So, but that's just a supplement